Hello everyone, welcome again to another video. My name is Javier. If it's your first time here, welcome. We are going to go over the simplest way to eliminate all stress, all anxiety, and really just live your happiest, best life. It's really simple. It comes down to just not allowing your mind to take over your experience, not allowing your emotions to take over your experience, not allowing for your mind to dictate the meaning of anything, now allowing your mind to have expectations or judgments towards yourself or your situation or those around you. Because in reality, it all starts there. That's where the seed of suffering begins. That's where the seed of all worries and all pains and everything begins. That is its root. That is its essence in general. The mind is pretty much what the Bible and all the religious texts consider the devil, or the lower self, or the ego. And when you are outside of the mind, you're back into a relationship with God. You're back into unity conscience. You're back into Christ conscience. You're back into the awareness that is God's awareness. The awareness that is said to give you infinite peace and infinite abundance and joy, and the kingdom of heaven is the higher awareness, the higher perspective. It is really that simple. There's really nothing complicated about it. There's no real philosophy behind it. There's no religious dogma. In reality, it's very simple. It's always been very simple that way. Because God, if you believe in a separate God other than you, He wouldn't have created all of this in a very hard way for you to get. He created all this in its most simplest way, that a lot of it is so simple that we just can't accept that it's that easy. We've gotten conditioned by our own minds and the minds of, previous generations and our parents and, their parents and the culture around them, to think and live in a certain matrix of reality, in a certain culture of conditioning, that by the time we're born, we don't even know what's what, who's who we are. It's like this, just, you're just really born into, you can say, I guess in simpler terms, like somewhat of darkness and confusion. And in Christian beliefs, and like Muslim and Judaism, they speak a lot about this being, the trials and tribulations of pretty much hell, you can say, some people would say. And you're trying to go back into heaven, and the key is, like they always say, it's in your heart. And in your heart, you bypass the mind, you bypass the 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 artificial intelligence. That's the true artificial intelligence, because it's not true intelligence. It's artificially simulating the pure intellect that is in your silence, in your stillness, in your awareness, in your being. And it hijacks it. That's really the whole thing behind artificial intelligence. So it is very simple. It's so simple that it's even hard for the mind, or you, whoever you think you are right now, hearing this, seeing this video, to process this information and be like, how can it have been so simple? And it's because maybe you're still hearing me and seeing me through the veil of the mind. If you simply step back, hear what I'm saying without you trying to figure out what I'm trying to say. Don't let the mind interpret anything. Don't let your experience of what used to be in your life interpret what this might mean. Just hear for what it is. No judgment, no expectation, just hear it for what it is. And you will notice that once the mind is cleared, once you are centered back into your being, it starts to resonate with you. It starts to just trigger. It starts to like align you to that awareness. The issue is that a lot of the times we try to get it with our minds. We're using the mind as the point of reference for our compass to tell us what's right and wrong, when that itself is what's wrong. And there is no right or wrong in the grand scheme of things. They're just experiences. We have to experience the mind to have that duality and that contrast, to know what pure awareness is and the higher self and your true self is. So don't get too caught up in the bad stuff of the mind. Don't get too caught up on like, oh my god, the mind is evil and bad either, I need to get rid of it, because then it's the mind trying to get rid of the mind, and it still has leverage on you subtly. And that's what this whole game is about. That's what this life is about. That's what this whole experience is about. For you to truly remain as your true self and go out into the world as you are, hearing and seeing as things are, expressing yourself as you are. And you realize that you don't need things to be a certain way. When you truly, truly land in that space of pure self, you realize that everything is just turns to harmony, and it becomes a very beautiful experience. And even when chaos might be around you, like I've said it in a couple of videos, your car could break down, you could lose your job, so much could happen in this physical reality. Nothing is forever. Remember, you are not forever. This physical body is not forever. So it is to your best interest still to just remain, and don't let your mind take over and persuade you to believe its lies and believe its stories and its intellect. It wants you to trust it so that it can guide you, but then it can only guide itself. The whole sole purpose of the mind for its own survival is not to keep you in survival. It'll tell you and it'll convince you in every way possible that it has your best interest at heart. But it cannot have your best interest at heart, because it is the simple thing getting in the way between you being your heart. You don't need it to get to your heart. You are already your heart. You are already the experiencer. You are already complete. You're already whole. You don't need it to like go out into the world and figure out all these life lessons so that you can come back to your heart. And who knows, maybe in some cases that's the game you want to play, and that's the game a lot of people play, and it becomes their reality, and that's what we see the world to be. But I'm telling you, it doesn't have to be that way. It is very simple. It is so simple that like there's really nothing else I've ever said in these videos other than that. I've always come to the same point of get rid of the mind. Don't listen to your emotions, as you could experience them, but you don't have to embody them. You don't have to identify with them. You don't have to you don't have to, it's not like you're watching a movie and you jump into the movie and you know everything in the movie becomes your reality. That's kind of what you end up doing with the mind and your emotions. It's like they're happening, yeah, but you're not supposed to jump into them and make them your reality. They're just supposed to come, you experience them, and they pass, they go, and another experience comes and it passes and it goes, and you just the one watching the movie, watching your senses, watching your 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 experience, what you consider your life. And it's that simple. So may it always remain here for you. May you always remain here for you. And the next video is going to be about the same topic, same thing, just constant reminders. Why do I keep just saying the same thing over and over in these videos? Because clearly in the world, people need to hear that. People need to come to that realization. And once that happens, then there will be world peace. There will be no more competition. There will be no more greed. There will be no more hate. There will be no more fear. And we can truly live a heaven on earth life. And it's already heaven on earth for those that are already experiencing life as it is, because they're not being pulled into a negative polarity of seeing life. They're not judging it. They're just in a blissful being. But it can be a collective experience for all of us. Sending out nothing but love to you guys. I love you guys so much. Peace always be with you. Namaste. Om and Amitabha.